You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1457. Today's episode is an excerpt from the Horses in the Morning show, where Glenn and Lisa chat with Dr. Eleanor Green about a new program to help pre-vet students get a leg up on their horse skills without breaking the bank.
Well, today we're so excited to have Dr. Eleanor Green with us. She's a veterinarian at Lincoln Memorial University, and they have a new program that hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to bring a lot of brand new equine veterinarians into the industry. So, Dr. Green, welcome.
Welcome. I'm glad to be here and certainly to pitch in on a topic that's of great importance to all of us who love horses.
Yes, and I know some of our listeners have, 4 or 6 hour drives to get their horses to a vet. I know for us personally, at Colby's Army, I have a therapeutic riding center. We have one vet that's an hour and a half away and another that's an hour away. And, most of it's telemedicine, really, because we rarely see them, if ever, on property. So tell us about this brand new program to get equine vets into the industry.
Well, you've already teed up the issue about the shortages of equine veterinarians, with even 50% of the new graduates even leaving practice within the first 5 years. Wow. And there are a lot of reasons for that. And one of the reasons is they have lower starting salaries and they have burnout. And one of the reasons for their lower starting salaries, we believe, is that it takes a while for them to get the experience they need to warrant a higher salary. And I hate to say that because I hope they get them at graduation, but that's potentially an issue. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about how this program came about and what it's going to be. Dr. Jim Hurd and I have been immersed in the equine industry for our entire working and personal lives, and we have a deep understanding of the industry from both sides. I'm a veterinarian. He's a PhD. We've both been in academia. I was at Texas A&M Dean just most recently. And so one day we were driving through Lexington, and he said, wouldn't it be great if we could have an equine-only veterinary college? And of course, such a college couldn't meet the accreditation guidelines, but we started talking about it more and said, well, what about if we create an immersive equine veterinary education program within an existing college? Well, Lincoln Memorial University is a private university that's in Tennessee, and it has the flexibility and the nimbleness to take on something like this. And so we worked with them, and they were a perfect home and are a perfect home for such a program. So what does this program look like? What we're doing is we are going to create a program that is going to be an immersive 6 years plus 1 semester program from undergraduate all the way through the DVM degree. And when an individual is admitted to the undergraduate, they're also admitted to veterinary school, unless they just can't maintain it.
Yay! All right, I got to stop you there, Eleanor, because we were talking about this before the show. We've had these conversations on numerous shows on the network about the vet issue, and nobody ever asked the question, well, it takes a 4.0 and $1 million to get into vet school in the first place. That's part of the problem that we have. So when I heard that you said it was going to be undergrad all the way through, that changes the mix a whole lot and is something that we definitely need.
Yeah, it really does. And here's another thing about this program that we think is very clever. That is that we aren't going to train veterinary students who decide they want to be equine veterinarians. What we're going to do is take horse kids, young people who have grown up in the horse industry, off farms and ranches and out of rodeo and out of pony club and whatever it is that they're out of. They have a deep understanding of the horse, how to handle it, how to ride it, how to do whatever with horses. And then we're going to take those students and train them to be veterinarians. It's going to be a very different approach.
That is really interesting because when I was training professionally, I was in Washington State, and I'm actually here in Tennessee now. But in both states, I have gone to veterinary colleges to teach prospective veterinarians about horse behavior. And I think that's a big thing where you can graduate with a veterinary degree at a lot of places and really not know anything about the horse.
You're exactly right. We can in veterinary colleges, and I've been involved in many of them, do a wonderful job of teaching them medicine.
Yes.
It is very difficult to teach a student to be a horseman during veterinary college, and you just nailed it right there. And so we're going to bring them in as horsemen at the beginning and then give them the medical knowledge they need.
I love that. Yeah. So is this program going now? Do you have your first students in place?
We are accepting applications this fall, and they will start next fall, except one other unique feature of this program is summer internships, except they will actually start the summer before they start classes because they will start their first immersive summer internship experience. Another unique feature of this program is that it's going to have 6 summer-long working internships. The first 2 will be with farms and ranches, and the last 4 will be with veterinary clinics. And we already have a lot of people on board to take these students. We have a lot of the different farms and ranches on the quarter horse side. We have verbal commitments from the 4-6s, from King Ranch, Brazos Valley Equine, and Lazy E. And those are just a few, and we got more to come. On the thoroughbred side, we already have verbal commitments from Calumet, Gainesway, Spendthrift, TaylorMade, Lanes End, Denali. And veterinary practices expressing interest so far are Haggard's, Root and Riddle, Avante, 113 Equine, ESMS, Brandon Equine Medical Center in Florida. They're all over, and there's certainly going to be many more to come. So
That's
this is going to be another thing that helps students because they'll get paid while they learn even more. And these farms will line up to get them because they want help that already knows how to handle horses.
So I love the paid internship part of it too, because I think it costs like $18 million to go to vet school.
Yeah, right.
And this would this help then, I think, offset some of those costs?
Yeah. Yes, it will. And we're hoping our students can graduate with less debt for several reasons. One is that the length of the education is less. So they have, nearly 2 years less to pay for. Plus, they can start earning 2 years earlier. Plus, they can make money while they're learning during vet school. And we think all those things can add up together to curb the debt. In addition to that, we didn't even start this program, and we've already had people calling to want to do scholarships. We have 3 scholarships already for, one of them is $25,000 a year for the 4 years of the students program. And this is without us even asking. So we think that this program is going to attract a lot of scholarship support as well.
All right. So you got them coming, basically, as I understand it, they're going to be coming out of high school, or they're a little older and they want to change careers and get into this or whatever. They come out of, working students for a professional rider for a while and decide to go into veterinary. And this would be a perfect way for them to do that too. What requirements are they going to have academically or otherwise to get into the program?
The requirements will be the same as every other vet student. They're not going to lower standards for these students at all. LMU accepts students at a lower grade point than some other colleges, and their students are fantastic. I'm not saying that that's a lower quality program, because they actually have data that show that the students that don't get in even have the same records as some of those who do. And the students who get in with a lower, at the lower end of the class do just as well as those on the upper end. There's very little difference once they get in. So all I'm saying is that the quality is going to be good, but there will be standards that will be the same as for veterinary school. But here's the thing, they don't have to compete with this pool of 1,500 other people.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You'll have a pool, and a lot of them are going into vet school to be small animal vets too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, and so they're taking up the spots, right?
Yeah.
Well,
there are a lot of young people that come out of these environments, and maybe they've had to work in the summers. Maybe they've gone to the Olympics in the summers and ridden. Who knows? But for whatever reason, sometimes their grade point is not as high as some others who don't have to work, who haven't immersed themselves in the industry. And sometimes they are just in that cutoff point that don't get in, and yet they could be fantastic students.
Right.
And we hope that we'll get some of them as well.
Right. And I think, with horses, I'm sure with every animal, but I think with horses, learning so much about horse behavior and herd dynamics can really help you diagnose if you really understand what you're looking at. And having people with born and bred, so to speak, into that industry and being raised with horses and having a good feel for that, I think can put them light years ahead. And that would certainly make up for, maybe a B+ in chemistry versus an A.
That's exactly what we're thinking. And, you hit on a really good point. My husband and I both been in the horse industry since we were born, and he went the PhD route, and his PhD happens to be in equine behavior. And I went the veterinary route, and I actually taught equine behavior. So we both get it and understand the importance of behavior and assessing an animal in a medical condition or any other. And, Chris Cox is one of our advisory council members, and I think most people know who he is.
I love
but
Chris.
He has said before, he said, my horses are worth a lot of money, and I spend a lot of time getting them to respond correctly. And he said, it doesn't take any time for somebody to mess up my foundation by handling them wrong. And he said, if somebody comes on my place and can't handle my horse, they're not coming back.
Well, not only that, I mean, you're talking about the health of the veterinarian, too. You got somebody coming out of vet school, hasn't dealt with horses a lot, they're going to get hurt.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing, they get hurt. And that's probably one of the reasons that half of them bail in the first 5 years is it is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're exactly right. And you talked about assessment for illness, but assessment for safety is equally as important.
Well, I think this is brilliant. It's thinking way outside the box, and you got a university degree to it, so there's that.
Yeah.
Where is LMU? What part of Tennessee is it in?
LMU it's an hour and a half from Knoxville. It's right on the Kentucky line and up by Virginia and Kentucky. It's right in that corner. It's in the Cumberland Mountains, right by the Cumberland Gap. It's a beautiful setting. And interestingly, Pete DeBusk is the one who started this program. He was an LMU graduate and has attributes his education at LMU for his great success. He's a multi-billionaire. He has like 70 medical patents, and he wanted to give back to the area. And so he has created this school, Lincoln Memorial University, and it has a med school and a vet school and a dental school and a nursing school and on and on and on, mainly professional focused. And he's very flexible. We asked him, we said, how long do you think it would take to get a program like this approved? And he said, 15 minutes. I'm chairman of the board.
Oh, my goodness.
and that is so unfamiliar in most established universities. And they're all wonderful. I'm not being critical. I've spent my life in universities. However, they are unwieldy and big sometimes.
And they're political.
And
yes.
And LMU is not. And then also, you're trying to change the whole world for a very small number of students. And so a lot of them can't actually make that many sessions for just a small percentage of their students, but Lincoln Memorial can. They can be very innovative and flexible. And we're very pleased with their entire leadership team.
All right, so you don't have to have a Southern accent to go there.
No, you do not.
All right.
So I'm
no, they already recruit nationwide. They already have students from all over the country.
Yeah. So Dr. Green, I know that there's going to be some younger people who are already in college listening to this and thinking, man, I want to be part of this program. So if they're a junior or a senior or a sophomore, they're already going to some other school, what can they be accepted into this program, and how would that change things?
All right. We talked about this a lot, and we said, look, part of the beauty of this program is they're going to come in as a cohort. So there will be probably at the first year, maybe 25 students. They'll come in together. They'll go through the whole program together. They'll share their experiences. There'll be a lot of peer-to-peer learning, not only from their past experiences, but also from those they glean in their internships. And so we talked a lot about what to do about that. Can students come in and enter? And at this point, it's, in a sense, not really yet. However, there's no reason that a person from any other program can't enter veterinary school at LMU. And we're looking at how can we embellish their experiences, even though they wouldn't be directly a part of this, and have them participate in as many of these areas as they could. And so the answer is sort of a yes, but not truly this program, if that makes sense.
That makes sense to me, because part of this experience is that summer internship. They're going to learn as much there as they are in school. So I kind of get why you say that.
Well, and
not skipping a couple of years of that.
I like, too, the fact that they're coming in and they're a group and they're going through together, and that's going to stay with them their entire professional lives, those connections.
It will.
Networking.
It will. And imagine someone coming from West Texas off of a ranch, and from Pennsylvania off of a 3-day eventing farm, and off the Northwest off of a different program, and Florida off of the polo teams, and whatever it is. But imagine all those wonderful horsemen getting together and sharing their experiences. And I know that I always say I love a really good horse of any discipline, and I'm not tied to any one discipline. I just appreciate a great horse, and I think we learn from each other in those disciplines.
Okay, how do I sign up? I'm only 60. Is it too old for that? Yeah.
No, you're not.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, get in line behind me, because I want to start over and do it. I would have given anything to have a program like this when I was a student. Anything.
How do they find out about it and do pre-registration or ask questions?
They just go online at Lincoln Memorial. They have a website up, and you can get information there.
Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.